Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Constellation aka DAG. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first off, I do want to take a quick look at the chart. We have been trading against currently the 200 daily EMA, as you guys do see by that blue line. We've been trading against it ever since we broke down below it in May. Recently we did run up against it, but we could not break out of it. Currently I have been utilizing this time to really kind of accumulate within the almost 7 to 8 cent range on this one. And yes, we did buy the dip at around like 5 to 6 cents. We've been averaging in for a while now on DAG, and we're going to be talking about why in this video. No, I did not forget about DAG. Trust me, I've been in the DAG train since going all the way back to the summer of 2021. This is when we were talking about it back here when it was like around 3 to 5 cents as well, before it ran up to about 46 cents. I know on some exchanges it did run a little bit higher, but this was one that I personally took quite a bit of profit from. We did reinvest it into other projects around this time, which was August. So, a lot of those projects did do well. I think most of my profits actually went into Casper at around this time, or at least around like October or so when I was waiting to see some nice buys within this market. But DAG has been one that I personally have been watching for a while to wait to see if it is going to bottom out. If we check out the fib levels on the log scale, we can kind of see that we did already technically bottom out on the 236, which was at about 5 cents. Currently, we are still trading around resistance at the 382, which is at almost 8 cents. If we could break back above this and target that 618, that would be awesome. But again, we are still in a bear market, so we don't know exactly if that is going to play out or if we will see a low again. The levels that I personally am watching for, if we do break down, is retesting the 2316 if we could bounce off of that, or if we do break down below that, then it is trailing all the way down to those summer of 2021 lows. Do I think that the bottom is in for a lot of these altcoins? I do believe so. Time will tell. All we have to do is average in, keep some stable coins on the sidelines, and just wait to see what happens next within this market. Nobody can predict the future, but when we look at DAG, the reason why I have been stacking this one, let's turn off the log scale. Let's look at some of the fib outreaches. So a lot of people do utilize the 4618. Is that a nice fib level to use for the topping points? Sure, it is. Statistically in the long run, a lot of altcoins have hit those major targets. And if we look here on DAG, the 4618 would be at about $2, which is a pretty significant upside from our level that we are at now. And then the last fib outreach, which is the one that Luna did hit when it was running up before, of course, the collapse of it, would be about $3.35. Not looking at that too much, but if we are talking about the current price action to about that 4618, this would be about a 23x opportunity, almost a 24x opportunity. If you guys wanted to know the fib outreaches on the log scale, you could also check out the log scale and look at where we would reach out to. The 1618 is the $1.85 level. These up here are way too unrealistic. I usually go off of the 1618, and that is still around the same level that we are eyeing on the main fib outreaches, minus the log scale, which would be, again, about $1.95. So anywhere within that range to me is perfect. I'm not going to wait for any higher price targets to be met. If I am going to be a little bit more conservative, I would be looking at a 10x opportunity on this token. But I know that that is going to be a little bit, to most people disappointing because everyone wants to, get the 100x opportunity with all of these assets. In my opinion, I think that that is a very poor way of looking at it. I think that DAG will perform pretty well going forward. Does it have 100x opportunity written all over it? It's hard to say. I know that with the circulating supply at about like 1.27 billion, with the total supply about like 3.7 billion, I believe, its upside is not limited at all. And even if we're talking about like $10 for, Constellation, that would be at about a $37 billion market cap. Could that be possible? Sure, it could be. But are we dead set on seeing those levels going into the next cycle? It's hard to say exactly. But I am watching this one closely. Hey, any levels are welcome to me. I think that the $2 range is pretty good for a starting point. I mean, that is still about a $7.4 billion market cap. If we're looking at like the fib outreach of the last one, that would be about a $12.4 billion market cap up at this $3 range. Is that possible? Sure, it is. But I'm not dead set on any of these major high levels to be targeted. We will play the conservative game, taking our profits when we can see them, and then from there we will look to see what happens fully. Again, having that moon bag to let it ride up to the next major levels, that is always key for success within this market because you never know what is going to happen. But let's talk about why DAG is pretty bullish going into the next cycle. So one, they are upgrading a lot of things. They are building still. They just updated their new website, a clean, sleek, and elevated design for you to learn, build, and explore. And yes, I do think that this new website looks great. We do see redefining Web3 interoperability with layer 0, consensus secure, feeless, decentralized, and infinitely scalable. And then down here, we do see all of the major ecosystem growth on Constellation, and you do see like the U.S. Air Force here. You do see a ton of other projects as well, and then you do see Splunk, which Splunk is a pretty large name. We broke them down in a video before on DAG, and then you do see meet Constellation Network faster than you can say Solana. And here are the statistics. So 80,000 plus transactions per second, 1.3 billion staked in DAG, 25.4K DAG wallet holders, and 300 plus validator nodes, a robust ecosystem, and you do see all the features. You can see the comparison here, which I think that this comparison is actually off, to be completely honest with you guys, because Hedera Hashgraph does have its own wallets. It has its own decentralized exchange. And, again, it has enterprise tools. Like, I think that, for the most part, this is also another thing about DAG that I didn't like in the past, is them like really kind of going after all these other major projects in the space and saying that they're all garbage. I just don't think that that is a good way of looking at it. Of course, say what you want. I just think that this is a little bit off comparing it to what we know about Hedera. I think that this is very statistically wrong. But they do have a great product offering. They also do have quite a bit to really kind of offer for like the data, tokenization move, which we will take a look at here in a second. But I do think that this new website is great, and everything around this, you can see like their ecosystem up here, and you could explore the projects, which we will talk about in a second. So let's look at a few things that have happened since the last time that we did talk about Constellation. So yes, they are, really kind of focused on the, the federal level of, projects within the government and things like that. We do see here, Constellation Network gets accepted into the Washington D.C. based Defense and Government Accelerator Decode. It is a, accelerator program with 150 companies applied, and Constellation was selected among 11 other cutting-edge technology companies in the AI/ML and big data industry. Decode is a premier and elite program that walks Constellation into government contracts in the federal government. We are working alongside some amazing companies, and as you can imagine, we are the only blockchain company to be included. The program just started, so we will, be sure to show you what is to come. And also, by the way, talking about AI and big data around Constellation, that brings me to the next topic here, which we've been talking about this for a while, since going back over a year ago, the tokenization of data and how Constellation is forging a path for the new financial instruments through microservices. Big data will be tokenized. We do even see down here like the digitization of consumer information has proven to hold immense value, so much so that the World Economic Forum has classified data as a new asset class. And this is also why we do say like data will be the new oil. And we do say like just as natural resources shape the industrial revolution, big data is the driving force in the digital revolution, which has changed the ways we perceive, share, and interact with that data. And also down here, we do see digitization affects business infrastructures, disciplines, politics, and global economics. However, that does not always have positive outcomes. The truth of the matter is that data can be weaponized to affect every aspect of our society. So oftentimes, threat actors steal sensitive information in attempts to acquire monetary and even political gain. So giving control of that data back to the individuals, that is a huge stepping stone. And I do think that this is going to be pretty big. I think that data itself is going to be a very large asset class. And yes, Constellation DAG has been focused on this for a while, which is, I think, the biggest selling point about DAG. I know that they are working on some pretty high tier projects, but it all is about the data. Shout out to HDTP Tony on Twitter. We do see like what's the most valuable asset on Earth? Data. It is official. Data is now the most valuable asset in the world, ahead of oil, according to the economist. The shift comes as no surprise. 97% of businesses use data to power their business opportunities, and for 76% of businesses, it serves as an integral part of forming a business strategy. And yes, tokenizing this is going to be a huge market. I think that this is going to be a very huge stepping stone for Constellation. We don't know exactly when this will happen, but this actually shadows all of the short-term price targets that we do have in place for DAG, because long-term this could be a very, very large lucrative market. I mean, you're looking at trillions of dollars possibly in regards to tokenization. So I'm very excited for this. And also, yes, there is a ton of projects booming on Constellation right now. We do see over here from Constellation long-awaited hypergraph hour happening next week. Our special guests, Big Data Nova and Jenny Diggles, co-founders of Jenny Co, will be introducing the first healthcare data exchange powered by Web3. And use cases and things like that are going to power the future economy. I'm very excited for this. And also, if you go over to Constellation's ecosystem, there's projects like this all over the place. And if you do filter this, you could filter it by data. Currently, there's only 2 right now, which is Genico and Door. But there is going to be a lot more of these going forward. And there's so much other ones on here as well. There's over, I think there's like what, 11 to, so 13, 15, 17, 18. 21, 24, 25, 27, 29, so about 37 projects in total. And I think that this is great. And we also do see a lot of things happening on here. There's CBD projects on here. There's a ton of fan tokens, stuff like that. And I do think that the ecosystem will continue to thrive in regards to Constellation. I think that there's going to be a lot more players assigned to this. Currently, right now, I will say this though. Although there is a lot more projects building here, I do want to see a lot more going forward launching. We have been seeing a lot of growth happening right now currently, but I want to see a lot more here. Because it has been a while since we last talked about DAG, but even going back a year or so, comparing it to now, they are a little bit behind, I will say, compared to most other projects in the space. That does not mean that they will not perform well. I'm just saying I would love to see a lot more project offerings on DAG. And in regards to the partnerships, the one thing that really kind of drove me to investing into DAG back then was the partnerships that it did have in place, specifically focusing on Quant as well as LCX, which I think that these two, again, these are 2 of my main holdings. So, when we talk about DAG has always been a project that I have been personally invested into. It's been a project that I, personally love. So I'm definitely watching this one closely as we do kind of dip down to some levels that I personally love to see, and I could maximize my, stable coins for. Again, like a lot of these projects I have been averaging into, and DAG has been one just because I do believe in the upside potential here. Gains are gains, 20x, 30x, 50x, 100x. You don't always need the 100x. And on this one, like I said, from our current level to that $1.95, this is like a 24x opportunity. And like 24x is not bad at all. I think that everyone in the space is just kind of dead set on 100x opportunities all the time. But I do think that this is not a bad level. And even going off of our recent lows going back to June, this would be about almost a 39x opportunity. So that is not bad at all. But if we can get lower, if we have one last massive crash in this market left, if we do see it, I will be taking advantage of that. And if we do dip down to these levels back to the summertime, I'm going off of like the 3.5 cent zone, which would be here. This would be about a 54.5x. That is not bad at all. And I actually think that this could happen. We definitely have to watch Bitcoin a little bit closely here, but I'm still averaging in. I'm still taking these prices for I'm taking advantage of the cheap prices that we have in this market, because comparing it to where we were, going back to 2021, it's a night and day difference. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day, a beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.